Hey there, conscious creator. Have you ever been told to focus on your breathing when you're feeling stressed out and you're trying to become more present? You're not alone, because watching your breath is typically the first mindfulness technique most people are exposed to. But for many, it's not the most effective. In fact, at times it can almost feel forced, unnatural, or even stressful. The good news is you don't have to rely on your breath to cultivate mindfulness. There are other techniques that can feel simpler, natural, and even more enjoyable. In this video, I'll be sharing 5 simple yet powerful mindful techniques that don't involve watching your breath. These techniques are perfect for grounding yourself, staying present, and cultivating an awareness in a way that works for you. And by the end, you'll have practical tools that will allow you to bring mindfulness not only into your meditation practice, but into your daily life with ease and flow. Let's dive in. Okay, before we dive into the techniques, let's talk about why mindfulness is so important, especially if you're on a spiritual growth journey or trying to manifest something in your life right now. Mindfulness isn't just about feeling calm or reducing stress. It's the foundation for manifesting your desires and transforming your life. Manifestation or creating any type of change in your life starts with awareness, the ability to observe yourself and your thoughts without judgment or attachment. There's this common belief that spiritual growth and manifestation is all about moving from negativity to a positive state, that it's all about raising your vibration. But here's the truth. Before you can move into positivity, you must enter neutrality. Neutrality is about stepping back, seeing things as they are, and freeing yourself from the mental and emotional stories that weigh you down. Mindfulness helps you cultivate this clarity. It's not just a meditation practice. It's a tool for redirecting your focus, for noticing patterns in your life, so you can redirect your energy and consciously create from a place of clarity and intention. When you're mindful, you're fully present. And when you're present, you're in the driver's seat of life. So as we explore these techniques, remember, mindfulness isn't about doing it right. It's about finding out what works for you and integrating it into your life in a way that is natural and that helps you get the most out of life. With that said, let's dive into the techniques. So let's start with the first technique. Focusing on the connection of your feet with the floor. Have you ever sat down to meditate or tried to relax, and it feels like your thoughts are bouncing all over the place? It's like your mind is racing in a million different directions, and it feels almost impossible for you to find stillness. And even when you try to focus on your breath, that too can become quickly complicated and erratic. In those moments, grounding yourself can nearly feel impossible, but this technique makes it simple because you're literally grounding yourself. Instead of trying to force calm or clear your mind, you bring your focus to something steady and tangible, the connection of your feet with the floor. This is by far one of the simplest ways to practice mindfulness, because wherever you are, sitting, standing, or even walking, your feet are always connected to the earth below you. I know this might sound rather too simple to actually help you focus when you're feeling overwhelmed or distracted, but grounding yourself through physical sensations creates a sense of stability. It anchors your mind and body in the present moment, reminding you that you are safe and supported. Imagine you're in a stressful meeting or overwhelmed at work. What if, instead of letting your thoughts spiral, you paused for a moment? You notice the softness of the carpet, the cool, solid feel of the tiled floor, or even the steady warmth of Mother Earth herself. In that brief moment, your attention shifts to something steady and grounding. That's the power of this technique. It brings you back to the here and now. So here's how you can use this in your meditation practice. Just sit with your feet flat on the floor, close your eyes, and feel the weight of your body pressing you down. Notice the sensations of your feet connecting with the floor, the pressure, the texture, the temperature. Allow that awareness to be your anchor. You can even imagine roots extending from your feet into the ground, holding you steady. And whenever your mind starts to wander, just bring your attention gently back to this connection, just like you would if you were watching your breath. By practicing this technique regularly, you'll find that simply noticing your feet with the floor will become your go-to way to ground yourself, whether you're meditating or going through the ups and downs of a hectic day. Technique number 2. This technique builds on the idea of grounding yourself, but this time we're using a different physical sensation, focusing on the connection of your tongue on the floor of your mouth. Here's a fascinating fact you might know. Stress often shows up in our jaws. Think about it. When you're tense, do you ever notice your jaw clenching? Because when we're tense, our jaw muscles tighten and our tongue either presses against the roof of our mouth or against our teeth. That tension and positioning of your tongue can creep in without you even realizing it, even if you're not consciously stressed out. But by deliberately resting your tongue on the floor of your mouth, you begin to relax your entire nervous system. I know, it may sound a little bit out there and you may be skeptical, thinking, can something like the positioning of my tongue really make that big of a difference on how I feel? The answer is yes, because the muscles in your tongue are connected to your vagus nerve, which plays a big role in regulating your body's relaxation response. So give it a quick try for a second. Let your tongue loosely rest on the floor of your mouth and just focus on that connection for a second. Notice how your jaw instantly begins to soften, and see if you can notice a small wave of relaxation begin to emerge in your body. For me, I first feel it in my legs. I use this technique all the time in my meditation practice, when I'm feeling tension in my face or my jaw, or before going into any challenging moment, like having to give a presentation or going into a difficult conversation with someone. I'll always do a quick check-in to see where my tongue is sitting in my mouth. If I notice it's pressed up against the roof of my mouth, I'll move it. It's such a simple adjustment, but it releases any tension I'm holding in my body. So here's how you can use this in your meditation practice. Sit comfortably and start to bring your awareness to your tongue. Let it rest gently on the bottom of your mouth. Casually notice the sensation of your tongue resting there and how your body begins to relax and soften. Allow this awareness to anchor you and gently return your focus back to your tongue anytime your mind wanders. Over time, this simple positioning of your tongue will become second nature, helping you instantly relax whenever you need it. Technique number 3. Okay, so far we've explored how physical sensations can anchor your awareness, but this next technique shifts your awareness to a single powerful point, focusing on the space between your eyebrows. You might have heard of this area referred to as your third eye. It's often associated with wisdom and insight, but it's also a practical focal point for mindfulness, helping you settle your mind and body. I get it. This may sound like some woo-woo spiritual concept, and you might be wondering, why would focusing on this one exact spot help me cultivate mindfulness and ignite insight? Why not focus on some other part of my body, like my nose or my mouth? Here's why. When you bring your attention to this area, your eyes begin to naturally shift upward slightly. And when they're in this position, you generate alpha waves in your brain. And alpha waves are the brain waves that move you into a state of relaxation, calm focus, and creative flow, which are all the states we are looking to enter when we meditate. For me, I love using this technique when I'm working on a creative project and I'm feeling stuck. If I'm brainstorming or struggling to find inspiration, it allows me to step out of my overanalyzing critical mind and into a more intuitive mindset. I'll simply close my eyes at my desk, focus on the space between my eyebrows, and let the calm clear away any mental clutter so new ideas can surface naturally. And then I can return to my work with a fresh perspective. So let's give it a quick try so you know how to use it in your meditation practice. Allow your eyes to naturally shift upward without straining them. Notice any sensations in this area, perhaps warmth, light pressure, or simply the act of noticing itself. You might notice an immediate shift, a quieting of all mental noise, and almost like a tuning out of what's in your surroundings. Let this focal point anchor your awareness. And again, if your mind wanders, simply bring your focus back to this point. You might notice after a while doing this that every time you sit down to meditate, your focus will naturally shift to the space between your eyebrows, making it easier for you to enter a calm, mindful state. This now brings us to technique number 4. So up until this point, we've talked about techniques that focus your attention on a singular, tangible point. Your feet on the floor, your tongue on the bottom of your mouth, and the space between your eyebrows. But I get it, for some people, these techniques might still feel frustrating and even boring, like watching your breath. You still may find yourself trying too hard or trying to force a mindful experience, which can be exhausting. If that might be the case for you, no worries, I've got you. This next technique is perfect for you. It's one of the most playful ways to practice mindfulness, by simply using your gift of hearing and tuning in to all the different sounds in your surroundings. This can create a powerful experience, because when you shift your attention to sound, you're no longer just focusing anymore. You're inviting a sense of curiosity and openness to whatever's around you. This technique works especially if you struggle with overthinking, because it directs your attention outward instead of focusing on what's going on inside you. When I share this technique with people, they often ask, well, what if there's no interesting sounds in my surroundings? What if the sounds are distracting? And what if there's nothing I hear at all? Here's the thing. It's not about finding the perfect sounds to hear. It's about noticing whatever is present without judgment or trying to search for it. You might hear the faint hum of your refrigerator or your air conditioner, or maybe the sound of traffic, or maybe just the sound of your very own heartbeat. And if there are no sounds at all, can you notice what the absence of sound sounds like? I know it's paradoxical, but what are you hearing and experiencing when there is no sound at all? When I use this technique, I like to make a game of it. I'll close my eyes and see if I can listen to the quietest sounds in the room. I might zero in on 3 or 4 sounds that I can hear and see if I can hold them in my awareness simultaneously. It almost feels like I'm listening to a symphony in a way. Each sound that I hear is distinct and different, yet part of one larger cohesive experience. So here's how you can use this in your meditation practice. Start by noticing the loudest sound you can hear first. What sounds are most glaring? If it's something loud and distracting, like maybe your dog is barking or you hear a conversation in another room, avoid getting caught up in the story of the sound and instead bring it into your practice by seeing if you can notice the raw sound itself. Then shift your focus to the quieter sounds. What's the faintest sound you can hear? As faint as it might sound, can you keep your attention on it? And again, don't judge or analyze the sounds. Listen to them with curiosity and allow them to come and go naturally. This is also a great practice to do outside. Sit by a window or go to a quiet park and just tune into all the different sounds in nature. Our gift of hearing is really a great way to make mindfulness more fun and accessible, and to center your awareness without relying on your breath. And now for our 5th and final technique. Okay, so throughout this journey, we've explored a bunch of anchors to use in meditation outside of watching our breath. We looked at connecting with your feet on the floor. We looked at your tongue on the bottom of your mouth. We looked at tangible points of focus, like the space between our eyebrows. And we even explored our gift of hearing. This last technique brings it all back inward, using the power of your own mind and voice to cultivate mindfulness by repeating to yourself the word one. This is about using a mantra, a single word, as a vehicle for focus and presence. By repeating the word one, you give your mind just one thing to focus on, gently guiding it away from distractions. Mantras like this work on multiple levels. On one hand, the sound of the word creates a steady rhythm that anchors your attention. On the other hand, the meaning of the word creates a sense of unity and connection, helping you feel grounded in the moment. So you're probably asking, why the word one? Couldn't I just use any word for my mantra? So yes, while you could use any word that you want, the word one is especially powerful because it symbolizes wholeness, unity, and connection. It's a reminder that in this moment, there's nothing else to focus on. Just this one word, just this one thought, just this one experience. And also, one is a very basic word, making it very easy to repeat mentally without getting caught up in complex thinking. I first came across this technique from Emily Fletcher, the founder of Ziva Meditation. At the time, I was first learning how to meditate, and I was struggling mightily on keeping my mind from wandering. It wasn't until I heard her explain that mantras like one create a sense of effortless silence. Instead of forcing ourselves to focus, we give our mind something simple and natural to settle on, allowing our thoughts to become fainter and finer until they dissolve into pure awareness and stillness. I love that. Hearing that made something in my practice click for me. It transformed the way I approached meditation going forward. Because regardless of the technique you use, it's not about trying or doing. Meditation and mindfulness is about allowing, and that's the power behind this technique. So here's how you can use it. Sit in a relaxed position with your spine straight, and take a moment to set your intention for the meaning behind the word one. Let it symbolize unity, connection, or perhaps just stillness. Begin to silently repeat the word in your mind. Don't force it or actively say it. Instead, passively hear it, almost like a gentle echo in the background of your experience. Let it be soft and effortless. Your mind will wander, and that's okay. Just return back to the word one. Over time, you might notice the word becoming quieter and fainter, creating this delicious space of stillness and calm. This practice is yet another beautiful way to access mindfulness and calm your mind and body. So there you have it. 5 powerful yet accessible ways to practice mindfulness without relying on your breath. Each of these techniques offers a fresh, empowering way to anchor yourself in the present moment. If traditional meditation techniques have ever felt frustrating or out of reach for you, I hope these alternatives show you there's no real way to cultivate mindfulness. Mindfulness is a deeply personal journey. It's about finding what works for you and embracing practices that feel natural, enjoyable, and most of all, are sustainable. And remember, they don't just belong on your meditation cushion. They are tools to support you in your everyday life. If you found this video helpful, please like it and share it with someone who you think might benefit from these techniques. And I'd love to hear from you. Which one of these techniques are you most excited to try? Are there any particular techniques that you use to help you cultivate mindfulness? I'd love to hear about it. Let me know in the comments. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next video. Much love.